What do I think of the Milestar Patagonia MTs? How have they been performing for me so far on and off-road? And what's it like to daily drive a 37-inch mud tire? Answers to these questions and more on this episode. Well, hey everybody, welcome to 4x Trail. I'm Caleb and it's great having you along today. We're going to be in the garage on this episode because I'm coming up on my first rotation of these Milestar tires. They've got about 3,000 miles on them. So I thought it'd be a good chance to give you guys an initial review of the tire, how they've been holding up on and off road, what's the tread wearing in like, what kind of road noise do they put out. You know, I've owned a couple sets of nice tires before these, the Nitto Ridge Grapplers and the Mickey Thompson Baja MTZs. Loved both of those tires. But I recently upgraded to these Patagonias, and I gotta say, so far, they've really impressed me. Come check them out. I love getting out and hitting new trails, whether it's something local with my buddies over a weekend, or packing up the Jeep and heading out west on an overland trip. But I also daily drive my Jeep, so I need a tire that excels in both scenarios, something that's capable off-road, but also comfortable on-road. You know, not only for my daily commute, but driving my family around town or getting on the highway for a longer trip. So let's start with on-road performance. The majority of the miles of a tire will be on pavement, right? Even on a Jeep like this. So they've got to be good on road. And so far, these tires have done really, really well. Starting with just overall drivability, day in, day out. I tell you, these tires roll straight and true down the road. Even at highway speeds, 70, 80 miles an hour, there's no wobbling, there's no pulling or funny business. They just roll straight and true like a tire should. And that's with my stock steering components still in place. You know, I've done a lot of beefing up on my front end, some heavy duty ball joints, and beefed up the front axle, and the Jeep has been re-geared and a lot of things like that. But I'm still running my stock tie rod, my stock drag link, at the moment, my stock track bar even. So the fact that I can, throw a 37 on here with those stock steering components and roll down the road with no major issues is pretty impressive. I have noticed a real slight vibration in my steering wheel since putting these on. It's very slight, and I'm pretty sure it's due to the fact that I need to upgrade some of those components I just mentioned. I've got a heavy-duty track bar sitting right around the corner over there, and I think that and a couple other things will clear that up. But yeah, really impressed with the on-road drivability. The tread blocks are wearing in really pretty evenly. If I run my finger over the siping, I can feel just a slight cupping, which tells me they're definitely ready to rotate. And I've heard that about these. You've really got to keep them rotated about every 3,000 miles, which is my plan. But speaking of siping, let's talk about traction on road. Dry pavement, traction is really good, but more impressively, wet pavement, the traction is equally good. It is really, really impressive. I can't think of a single time I've slipped or spun out at all on wet pavement or in the rain. Stability is also really good on a variety of roads. I've got some back roads on my daily commute, and it handles those corners just fine. Changing lanes on the highway, feels planted and stable. I mean, it's a Jeep, right? So not a sports car by any stretch, but yeah, for a 37-inch mud tire, no complaints on the handling and the stability whatsoever. But my favorite feature of on-road performance by far is how quiet these tires are. I mean, they are so quiet. Even at highway speeds with the top off and the doors off, you can hardly tell they're there. And I really hope that continues. We'll see. I'm planning on doing more updates as the mileage increases. But I just love a quiet tire. I'm not one of those classic wow, mud tire guys. I just like a quiet tire that I can take my wife out to dinner in and we can have a conversation on the way, right? And these tires offer that. And a lot of that is due to their dual tread block design. They've got the center tread block pattern that is the primary contact patch when you're on pavement. I run about 25 PSI on road, and that just provides a real smooth and quiet ride. And then when you air down off-road, these side lugs begin digging in and doing the work. And so you really kind of get the best of both worlds. So let's talk off-road performance. I've hit a couple of trails with these tires so far locally. One is a system of creek beds, so a lot of gravel, a lot of water crossings. The other is a multi-terrain type of trail with some wooded areas, some off-camber hill climbs, a lot of rocks and roots and some obstacles, a couple of mud pits, some packed clay trails, just a lot of variety. And in all of those scenarios, these tires did really, really well. There was even some times when I thought, I probably don't need four-wheel drive here because the rear end was hooking up so well on its own. Now, I'm not running beadlocks, so I only air down to 15 PSI when I'm off-road. But even at 15, these tread blocks spread out nice and flat, and the side lugs really can dig in and start doing their work. Probably my favorite feature off-road of these tires, besides the traction, is how lightweight they are. Weight is a huge, huge deal for me. I try to keep my overall rig just as light as possible. And when I was, searching tires, tires, you're talking unsprung weight, you're talking rotating mass, which affects your acceleration, your braking, your fuel economy, and your overall drivability on and off-road. So I needed a lightweight tire, and these really fit the bill. I weighed them to verify when I got them on the bathroom scale, and they're only 72 pounds each, which for a 37-inch tire is really good. And part of that's due to the fact that they're not a true 37. I'm sure you probably know that just because a tire says a certain size, it doesn't mean it's actually that size in the real world. And these are 37, 12.5 R17s, but in the real world, I think they measure out between 35 and 36 inches tall, if I remember right. That's once they're mounted and aired up and put on the vehicle. So that helps with the weight, but also the fact that these are a 3-ply sidewall. I'm not doing a lot of towing, and my rig's not super heavy, and so I have no trouble running a lighter weight tire. The benefits far outweigh the negatives for me. And my Mickey Thompsons were the same way, a 3-ply, and I tell you, those things, I ran those out in Moab. They took a lot of hits on the trail, no issues whatsoever, and I'm anticipating the same with these tires. An added benefit of lightweight in my case is I'm running my stock tire carrier. I know, I need to change it soon. But so far, it's holding up just fine, and I wouldn't feel comfortable just throwing any old 37 back there. But the fact that these are so lightweight really helps me out there as well. So for me, the 3 standout features of these tires are how quiet they are on road, how lightweight they are, and that affects both on and off-road use. And last but not least, the price point. These tires are an incredible bargain. I'm sure the price will, rise as they gain popularity, but at the moment, a lot of bang for your buck here, in my opinion. Look, I'm not endorsed by these guys or anything like that. I'm just a happy customer, and I hope that they hold up for the long run. I'm planning on updating you guys as the mileage increases. But at the moment, if you're in the market for a new set of tires, I can definitely recommend you check out the Milestar Patagonia MTs. Well guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. If so, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for lots more great content here on 4x Trail. I'll see you soon.